Do you want me to add the other Blake Bass to the screen?
No, no. As long as it will stream it. What do you want this title? What is the title of this specific episode that you're doing? So I can put it in here.
Ancient Alien Spotlight trailer
All right.
premiere. Alien disasters. Oh, and we've got some viewers. So we don't really have a format tonight. We're gonna watch our new trailer. Welcome everybody, by the way, to All Things Unexplained. So we don't really have a real format tonight, but I'm Dr. Mouse. I'm joined by author, musician, actor. Is there anything he can't do? I'm not sure. Blake Best, who wrote the score for our new trailer for Ancient Alien Spotlight, which we're super excited about. It's our new collaboration with the History Channel. CJ, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And
I'm
if
here.
anybody,
That's all I can promise.
Oh, that's okay.
It's been a week.
Our trailer should pop up here in about 1 minute. If anybody has any questions, by the way, for Nick Pope, put them in there. Please go to YouTube to watch the trailer at All Things Unexplained. That's our YouTube, youtube.com at All Things Unexplained. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube. And you can subscribe to our Ancient Alien Spotlight event coming up February 16th.
I feel like this is a really unique opportunity where if people are fans of Ancient Aliens or Nick Pope himself, they can submit questions and we can ask them when we have him on our show. And I know that if I were a fan of a show and I had that opportunity, I would be sending my questions in as fast as I could.
That's right. And we do have a live, we can get all your chat on YouTube tonight or Facebook or Twitter. And the trailer should be premiering any second for Ancient Alien Spotlight. And here we go. Oh. That's pretty cool.
Is this our trailer?
I sense doubt in you.
I mean, slightly doubtful. Is this a commercial for something else?
It's our new sponsorship with Audi. No, I'm just kidding. So, I think this is the countdown. Oh, I need to get this ticker off. All Things Unexplained will not begin shortly. We're here already. Thanks for joining us, everybody that's here with us. We're waiting on the brand new trailer for our Ancient Alien Spotlight. And it will feature Nick Pope, the one and only Nick Pope, and CJ's going to tell us a little bit about Nick Pope after the trailer.
No, for real. What are we watching right now, though? What is this?
Can y'all hear it okay?
Yes.
So, for real, this is... Let me see if I can adjust the volume here. That's better. This is super cool, though. This is a countdown for our trailer. So I think I said it on a 5-minute countdown, so I'm sorry about that. But look, I assumed that the countdown was going to begin at 8:55. Okay. But clearly the countdown began at 9. So the trailer should come at 9:05. So if you're with us, our new trailer featuring music by Blake Best, who's here with us tonight. Blake, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here again. I feel like part of the All Things Unexplained family. As
You
it
are.
should be, right?
You are part of the family.
Well, thank
Absolutely.
you, CJ. Thank you, Dr. Mounts. I appreciate it. Y'all have been super awesome, and I'm glad you like the music. I'm glad it resonated with you the way it resonated with me. It was creepy, that's for sure.
It really was. And when I was talking to Blake, you know, he was asking me, well, what are you looking for? And I think I said something like, okay, apocalyptic, dreadful, foreboding. Foreboding was what I was really looking for.
You could have just been in my house this week and gotten all of those sounds.
Ouch.
All of them. It's a rough week.
Well, I hope that everything's better or you're getting better.
We're on the upswing, I think.
So we're here tonight because we are super excited to be beginning a new collaboration with the History Channel and Ancient Aliens. And on Friday, February 16th, we are proud to present Ancient Aliens Spotlight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And we will be talking to none other than the amazing Nick Pope. Nick Pope will be here right before a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens on History Channel at 9. So you can tune in to our YouTube. We will exclusively air Ancient Aliens Spotlight with Nick Pope on our YouTube at All Things Unexplained. And immediately following, you can hop over to the History Channel and watch a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens. And we can give everybody a little teaser for that. I already know what the episode's going to be about. It's going to be the top 10 alien disasters.
All right.
So I was
That seems
actually,
like a big one.
it does, and I was actually speculating on what some of those alien disasters could be. Not saying CJ and I know anything.
Do we know something?
I don't know, do we? Well, I was wondering if they were going to go generic or if they were going to go specific. They could do both. And I think we're going to be starting here in about 1 minute with the new trailer. But one such alien disaster could definitely be an alien invasion, right? We've seen it in the movies.
But don't they talk about things that they think have actually happened?
Well, that's a good question. Oh, look at this. Here we go, folks. Brand new trailer. Ancient Aliens Spotlight. Music by Blake Best. This is pretty exciting.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
I love this. Yeah, this gets you pumped and psyched for it. Absolutely.
Let's go.
All Things Unexplained presents, in association with the History Channel, Ancient Aliens Spotlight, Friday, February 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, exclusively on youtube.com/@allthingsunexplained or visit bigfootufo.com. Featuring Nick Pope. Afterwards, tune in to the History Channel for a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central.
Awesome. Blake, that is great music.
Thank you.
Good work, friend. And Tim, great work on that trailer.
Thank
Right
you
on.
so much. I feel, should we, I want to get rid of that. I feel like if it
Oh,
lets
my.
us, we should watch it. I know, look at that. I feel like if it lets us, we should watch it one more time. Ancient Aliens Spotlight. And I really liked this. We should do more premieres. Here we go. 8, 7. New trailer, Ancient Aliens Spotlight. We're playing it again. We got more folks tuning in.
Welcome.
All Things Unexplained presents, in association with the History Channel, Ancient Aliens Spotlight, Friday, February 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, exclusively on youtube.com/@allthingsunexplained or visit bigfootufo.com. Featuring Nick Pope. Afterwards, tune in to the History Channel for a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central.
This is a big deal.
It really is. I'm so excited. We got Blake Best here with us tonight. We got CJ Derringer here with us tonight. Blake, he took my request for the music that I wanted us to do for Ancient Alien Spotlight, our new collaboration with the History Channel. And he even did it. He worked on it, with multiple edits too. I said, Blake, I really want a little part in the middle where it speeds up. And I mean, 5 minutes later, he had it for me.
He's a pro. A true pro.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that you liked it. It was different. I usually write in what's considered to be major keys, but for this one, I wrote in the very unusual key of C minor because I wanted something dark, foreboding, kind of conspiratorial, for lack of a better word, and that key seems to fit well with that. So
It did fit well. And now we get to look forward to our interview with Nick Pope, which is so exciting. Ancient Aliens, that's a big show in the UFO world. Anybody that I know who talks to me about this podcast, which by the way is more and more and more people every single day. I can't go to a play date or a dinner party or even my child's classroom without somebody talking to me about the podcast, which is great. It just means that we're resonating with a lot of people. But Ancient Aliens always comes up. People always ask, oh, have I seen this on Ancient Aliens or what have you? And so now we get to work in collaboration with them and dive a little bit deeper into what they know and what they're sharing with us. And I feel like Nick Pope he's a big name in ufology for sure. I mean, he's got such a great background in everything UFO. And we scored getting to have him on our show.
Absolutely. You know what? It just blows my mind, Blake and CJ, because Blake probably remembers. I can't remember how early on All Things Unexplained you came on with us, but it did go all the way back to our Corn WingCon days. Did it not, Blake? Weren't you around for that?
I was. We were part of the very notorious NAP conference. I do remember that with Miss Becky Cook. Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we were a part of the Corn WingCon the year before that with Squatch Talk, I believe it was. And so the thing is, what blows my mind, Blake, is when CJ and Smitty and myself, we first started, right? Wow. I mean, we didn't have anything else on our mind but kill some time. The kids and everybody's stuck at home during COVID. We're about to lose our mind. We got all these remote, apps coming out, Zoom and Microsoft Teams, everything. Let's do something with it. If we're ever going to do it, let's do it now. And we're pretty much just, asking our friends to come on, asking our friends to watch. First show we ever did, CJ's mom and dad were the only people that watched. And, and now Nick Pope with the History Channel is coming on before a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens. I don't even know how to process it.
I don't either, but I will ask that nobody goes back and listens to those early episodes, please.
Oh,
Please do me a favor.
I have went back and listened, and they are not that bad. I promise.
Except for the Mr. Billy. I think Mr. Billy for me was life-changing, and that was one of our first episodes. That was great.
I'm proud of the show and how far it's come. You both, all of you, and Smitty too. I mean, it's always a great time, and it's always things I grew up wondering. It's like, how many of us out there really wonder about what goes on in our world and beyond it? And this show answers that question every time I listen to it. So,
thank you.
We appreciate that. And Blake, CJ has tried to get me to remove our previous or early episodes, and I just can't do it. I told her, it's part of our history, it's part of our legacy, and you can't chart your growth right without the beginning. Like, you have to have the beginning, the pre-test data, as it were, before you can accurately assess how far you've come. And so I think that it's really needed. It really shows how far we've come, but also just how much fun we've had since the beginning. And that's consistently what I have people tell me, is that I just, I like your topics and everything, but I just like watching everybody's interaction on this show. You're all such good friends. You all get along so well. You're positive. You're polite and respectful to your guest and to the subject and to other people in the field. And we really appreciate that. Our kids can listen with us if you want to. We're not going off on some sort of, obscene rants or derogatory language or dramatic tirades. And by the way, that's a big difference than UFO Twitter. If you ever jump in there, you're going to see something quite different than that. But we really have come a long way. I want to encourage everybody, before CJ tells us a little bit about Nick Pope, to please go over, if you want to catch Ancient Aliens Spotlight featuring Nick Pope on Friday, February 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern, directly before a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel at 9 on February 16th. There's only one place to do it, folks, exclusively on the All Things Unexplained YouTube. And I put the link up, youtube.com/at All Things Unexplained. You'll be able to find the link to the event there, the Ancient Alien Spotlight, and you'll be able to RSVP. And we really appreciate if you would subscribe and comment and share our videos. It really helps us defeat the disclosure algorithms. Okay. You know, I've often thought that somebody on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram could have already provided evidence for disclosure, but the dang social media algorithms won't let anybody see it. And so you can help us defeat that by subscribing, sharing, and commenting. CJ, we're going to talk to Nick Pope
Yes.
for Ancient Alien Spotlight. People
Yeah.
may not be familiar with him. What can you tell us about
Yeah.
Nick Pope?
Well, what's wonderful about Nick Pope is that so many people are familiar with him. On our last episode, we said, we're having Nick Pope come on. And we had all these people commenting, Nick Pope with exclamation marks. But if you're like me and you live under a rock or you never leave your home or you don't ever watch TV, you might not know who Nick Pope is. His name was new to me, I have to be honest. But after doing further research, this guy's a big deal. I mean, not only is he an author and a commentator on all things UFO, but he's an insider. He's got insider UFO, UAP knowledge. He actually worked for the UK's Ministry of Defense studying UFOs. That was his job, was to figure out, were these UFOs that they were seeing any sort of threat to their defense systems. So he spent a long time doing that. And then after he left, he had a little bit of a grudge about them shutting down his program. He wrote several books, lots of nonfiction books. Man, I'm off tonight. Okay, lots of nonfiction books. He's written a couple of fiction books as well. He has done all kinds of lectures. He's been on every show that there is to talk about aliens and UFOs, but he's a regular commentator on Ancient Aliens, and he will be on the episode that is premiering after our podcast with him. And I can't think of a better person to do a deep dive about conspiracy theories. I think he's pretty big on them, on what's happening behind the scenes, about disclosure for sure. That's a big thing, right? Like, we want more disclosure. If anybody knows things, it's Nick Pope. So we are very, very excited to have him on our show. In fact, I think some people have compared him to, is it the Mulder of X-Files?
Trust no one.
Trust no one. Yeah, he's a big trust
Fox
no one.
Mulder. They have compared him. They basically said he ran the UK's version of the X-Files.
Yeah. And he wrote a book. I love the title of this book, Open Skies, Closed Minds, back in 1996. I've got somebody with tummy trouble upstairs crying for mama.
Why don't you go take care of that
Okay.
and come back if you can, okay?
Okay.
You can. Oh, there she goes. So Blake Best joins us tonight, and we're just chatting about our brand new collaboration with the History Channel, Ancient Alien Spotlight. We're going to be live before a new episode of Ancient Aliens on Friday, February 16th. We're going to be on with the one and only Nick Pope, the UK's Fox Mulder, the real life Fox Mulder of their X-Files program. And it'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern, Friday, February 16th. And then you can tune to the History Channel immediately after to catch a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens. And our Ancient Alien Spotlight theme, scored by the incredible and talented Blake Best, who's here with me tonight. Blake, thanks again so much for jumping on with us tonight. We didn't really have a format. We just kind of wanted to join everybody on the premiere of our trailer, which features your music.
It was a blast to do. You know, we were talking about the X-Files earlier, and I really believe that Nick Pope knows the truth is out there. And, you know, growing up watching that, the music, Mark Snow, the composer for that unforgettable theme, you know, that X-Files theme, it really influenced my work as a composer later on. So it's really come full circle for me to be scoring an episode devoted to, you know, UFOs, unexplained aerial phenomenon, conspiracy theories. It's definitely an X-File fan's, you know, highlight for sure.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I love the X-Files. especially the earlier episodes. And one of the things I loved about the X-Files, one of my great memories is this was before DVR, and it was a big deal, right? Like, we got together with groups of people and watched the new episodes, right? And there was only one way to really to do it, and you had to go somewhere and you had to gather live, kind of like sports now, but except for shows back then. And it was like water cooler talk, right? I think it was on Sunday nights too. Maybe it was Wednesday nights, but anyway, we all gathered. We had a group of us, and we got together. Hey, it's X-Files night. Let's go.
Absolutely. Ever since that premiere, September of '93, I remember. Well, I was 8 years old when I saw those opening credits roll, and Dana Scully walk into that office, and he says, "I assume you're here to spy on me." That's how I knew. That's how I knew that it was something special.
CJ might be spying on us.
I see it.
Double
Very
agent.
possible. Very possible.
Yeah. Well, and for those that are tuning in, we're here for a little self-promotion tonight. We are so ecstatic to begin a new collaboration with the History Channel, and we're going to have an Ancient Alien Spotlight special episode Friday, February 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern with Nick Pope right before a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. And that actual episode is going to be a top 10 countdown on alien disasters. So we're not going to stick around much longer tonight. We really wanted to watch that trailer, but I did want to throw something out there. When I think of ancient alien disasters, I can't help but think about ancient aliens in the Bible. And this is one of those things. I see some people on UFO Twitter. I could call names, but I'm not. And they really go off on folks who talk about ancient aliens or aliens in the Bible, right? And they really try to discredit them. And I think the reason they do that is they can discredit like the jellyfish UFO and different modern events, with prosaic reasons. But there's really no way to explain anomalous phenomenon in ancient times, right? To say that a UFO today is a weather balloon, that's fine, but it doesn't explain a UFO from 2,000 years ago. It doesn't even come close. And I'd like to put a little quote from the Old Testament up on the screen here. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this before, but this is from Zechariah in the Old Testament. And it says, I looked again, and there before me was a flying scroll. I should have asked our pastor to come on, CJ. I thought about it. He asked me, what do you see? And I answered, I see a flying scroll, 30 feet long and 15 feet wide, approximately the size of an F-18, if I'm not mistaken. And he said to me, this is the curse that is going out over the whole land. I will send it out. It will destroy it completely, both its timbers and its stones. Zechariah 5, verse 1 through 4. Folks, I don't know many ways to explain away a flying object 30 feet long, 15 feet wide that goes out and destroys a city or a town in the Old Testament. Besides, we got a UFO, folks. To quote friend of the show and ancient alien star George Tsoukalos, I'm not saying it was aliens, but I think it's pretty obvious. What's y'all's take on, biblical aliens here, ancient biblical aliens?
I agree with you. I think people have been seeing things for a long time that were unexplainable. I mean, that's why we have this show, right? All things unexplained. There's so much that people have seen throughout history that just doesn't sit right with what they know to be true for their current times. I don't know the Bible back and forth, so I can't speak to more biblical items other than what you just shared, but that certainly sounds like some type of UFO to me.
I agree. And you know what? I'm going to bring up one more thing here before we get out of here tonight. When I think of ancient alien disaster, which they're going to do a top 10 countdown. And before I get to that, I want to encourage everybody to head over to our YouTube. Okay. Let me pull up that link for you one more time, because you're going to have to go to our YouTube to watch the Ancient Alien Spotlight episode of All Things Unexplained featuring Nick Pope right before a brand new episode of Ancient Aliens on History. Our theme song was scored by the immensely talented Blake Best, who's here with us tonight. You can find us on YouTube at All Things Unexplained. Please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share what you see on there. And we talked about Ross Coulthard's giant UFO. And CJ, you got a kick out of this last time, but I postulated, hey, this giant UFO, it was so big that Ross Coulthard claims some government had to build a building over it. They couldn't move it. It was so immense. So they just built a building over it. A building which, by the way, is supposed to have strategic importance to the United States and Australia and the UK. And I actually heard somebody speculate that this building is the Vatican. I'm just saying. I heard speculation on that. But I'm thinking this UFO had to have crashed in some manner, right? And so I just wondered, hey, could this be the UFO that wiped out the dinosaurs?
Well, we also have that other situation, Dr. Mounts. You know, you think about the ancient aliens and disasters. The question remains, Atlantis, did it fall because of a possible alien attack? Because there have been people since 1968 that have claimed to find ruins in different parts of the ocean, you know, and if something like that happened, they have the technology, obviously, that the human, you know, race didn't at the time. They could have very well caused that. Who knows?
No, you're absolutely right. And this definitely ties into the theory of ancient alien apocalypses, right? Or ancient apocalypses. And I think one thing that's very interesting, and we have a lot of people doing work in this subject now, and they're showing, you know, we have lost or forgotten a great deal of our ancient history. I'm going to go back to the Bible here real quick, and people, you know, we have records of ancient philosophers, but yet no tombs or graves or photos or anything, and people act, you know, totally believe in certain ancient philosophers, but they don't believe other things to which there's much more evidence, including physical evidence, like you said, for things like Atlantis and the Lemurians, right? And so we've forgotten a great deal of our past, a great deal of our ancient past. It makes you wonder, how many cycles of humanity have we already been through? Because we would never know. If we're on the third cycle of humanity, you know, it started with Adam and Eve, but that could have just been the beginning of a new cycle. The previous one wiped out by an unknown alien apocalypse.
It's true. Well, you bring up that other thing, Dr. Mounts. You're talking about, you know, biblical interpretations of aliens and ancient aliens. I'm thinking Ezekiel, especially verse 16. You know, the appearance of the wheels and their workings was like the color of beryl, and all four had the same likeness. The appearance of their workings was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. The description of that is very mechanical, and there's no explanation for that, you know.
That's right. That's why my favorite biblical relic, my favorite ancient relic of all time, which I would love for us to take a All Things Unexplained expedition and find this finally, the Ark of the Covenant.
Let's
right?
go. If you want to go find the Ark of the Covenant, sign me up. I'll go.
And I know
Adventure.
I know CJ is a fan of what's the books with the Masons and the symbology.
The Dan Brown books.
The Dan Brown books, right? So I know you're up for finding the Ark of the Covenant.
Absolutely.
But if you read about the Ark of the Covenant, it sounds like they're dealing with advanced technology. Now, how is that possible 2,000 years ago? It doesn't make any sense, right? And again, I think this is part of why current skeptics and debunkers, they, instead of trying to deal with ancient records of things like this, they just don't even deal with it. They go the route of humiliating the people that talk about it and putting them down. And, in that way, they don't have to deal with it, because if you think about it, if you have to deal with it, there's no logical explanations. It just defies all imagination and logic, except for aliens.
That's true. Do you remember, you were talking about the X-Files? Do you remember the season, the series finale, when Mulder and Scully confront the smoking man in those ruins? And he says, my story scared every president since Truman. And it starts on the day that the Mayan calendar ends, December 22nd, 2012, the date of the final alien invasion. I mean, that's art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life to a lot of people. I mean, they believe that. And I can see the basis there,
That's right. And they say Jimmy Carter was briefed on aliens, and what he heard was so disturbing that he wept and was very visibly shaken. It makes you wonder. And people forget that Ronald Reagan gave a speech one time. I wish I had the audio of this, but it's true. It sounds like I made this up, but I didn't. Ronald Reagan gave a speech. I think it was to the UN, and this was very much during the Cold War. And he said, you know what? I believe, and I wish I could talk like Ronald Reagan, Smitty can. I believe if there's one thing that could bring all of us together, it's as if there were an alien invasion. It would bring all the countries together, united against a common cause. And this was way before the president's speech in Independence Day. But there he was, talking on a public stage to the whole world about an alien invasion. So what did Ronald Reagan know? Yeah, you have to ask yourself, right? But it's great to have CJ with me tonight and Blake Best. We're here just kind of celebrating our Ancient Alien Spotlight, new All Things Unexplained collaboration with the History Channel, Friday, February 16th. Be sure to go over to our YouTube at All Things Unexplained, subscribe, so you don't miss Ancient Alien Spotlight, feature music by Blake Best. CJ and myself will be talking to the amazing Nick Pope, and we have no less goal than full public disclosure of UFO secrets that very night, plus some teasers on the upcoming season of Ancient Aliens.
Yes. So if you are not watching this live, please do send us your questions. What's the best place for people to send questions that we can share with Nick Pope?
Well, they can email them to us at allthingsunexplained@yahoo.com. They can also send them to us on our Twitter, @unexplained. That's a great place to send them to us on Twitter. I've got several posts up on Twitter. They can also watch the trailer again and post in the chat any questions that they have for Nick Pope. They can also go to BigfootUFO.com now, BigfootUFO.com, and they can go ahead and go into the event for Ancient Alien Spotlight, and they can go ahead and add their questions into the chat, and we would love to pass them on.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to that, and we hope all of you will join us.
Speaking of, instead of the usual outro tonight, I'd like to go out with a slightly new intro. Would that be okay with everybody?
Yes.
So, Blake, thanks for joining us. CJ,
Yes.
thanks. Tune in to Ancient Alien Spotlight. We can't wait. By the way, we have some other amazing things coming up, including fresh off Joe Rogan, the one and only Diana Pasulka.
Yes.
That's going to be pretty exciting. I tell you what, if we don't get to the bottom of this UFO business before the end of March, I'd say, then we're not doing something right. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Blake. Thanks, CJ.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Did the CIA write Wind of Change by the Scorpions?
As humans busied themselves about the various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
Dr. Loeb, what percentage chance do you give it that you have indeed uncovered extraterrestrial or non-human technology?
With infinite complacence, people went about their affairs, Yet across an immense ethereal gulf, intellects vast and unsympathetic through their plans against us.
Prior to your abduction, did you believe in UFOs or any sort of alien life form?
All things unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.